got EK, who's got a slight tear to his meniscus, and he'll be getting, he's actually in surgery as we speak. So hopefully things go well. We don't think it'll be anything big for, 4 to 6 at the most. But we're optimistic we'll have him back in 4 weeks. So not going to miss a lot. Bryce is out with a strained hamstring, and he won't practice. We've held him out the last couple days, and then yesterday we had a couple walk-ons go down with sprained ankles, so we're down to about 10 guys right now. So it's just that part of the season in practices. So we're in midterms to boot. So the guys have a lot going on with them right now. So we're really backing down kind of the stuff that we're doing this week, and yet fundamentally, both offensively and defensively, fundamentally keeping the things that we need to continue to teach and emphasize at a premium.
So when did EK suffer that injury?
Today is, I lose track of my days, Tuesday. Last week, about midweek of last week, I think. And we held him out, and then he got evaluated over the weekend. So it was like maybe Thursday. I can't remember our days off now. I can't remember when it was, but it was late last week.
So he's going to miss at least a handful of games, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know, but, I think 4 weeks out, he could miss the first openers, that first 3 games probably. And he's could be hopeful for Long Beach, and I think as long as things go well today, pretty optimistic for the Anaheim tournament.
That's a pretty big loss because you were talking about him being such a big rim protector for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously you never like losing anybody. And EK is doing a lot of good things, and fortunately it's a small tear. It's not a major tear, so I don't think it's going to be a huge setback, but anytime you have an injury, there's a setback. But when things like that happen, it provides opportunities then for somebody else. Tom obviously has been terrific, and we have a lot of bigs, which is good. Ike is back playing now. He's been out. He's back healthy playing. But Gigi's been terrific. So it allows us to play, maybe not your most traditional center after Tom, but we can still be big and play the way we like to play, whether that's Gigi in there or Alex is in there or Ike, whatever it may be. I think they can hold the fort pretty good until EK gets back.
Is it left or right knee?
Oh boy. I want to say right.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And he just suffered it just going in practice?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Doesn't remember when, doesn't remember how. Just it's one of those things that becomes sore, and then you check it out.
You talked about the depth of your front court this year, something you haven't had since
Right.
you've been here. If a guy of that caliber had gone down, last year or the year before,
Yeah.
it was a lot different reaction for you.
Well, I'm not making light of it at all. I mean, these are all my guys, so you never like anybody getting hurt. It's injuries are part of this game. It's part of athletics, so it's something that none of us like. None of us want to deal with it, but this year we are deeper in the front court. So if Ike was down all summer, and yet we were able to continue to do what we want to do and not change how we want to play. EK is going to be out for about a month. We're not going to change how we play because EK's out. We just got to keep developing other guys, and then obviously work EK back into it once he gets back.
The defense, I think I was reading that Sports Illustrated article. It said 13.1% of possessions were in transition last year. And that was down significantly. Was that because you weren't getting turnovers and defensive stops like you wanted last year?
Well, I thought both, especially from January on, basically from league play on, our offense and defense both were not anywhere near what we wanted it. Our first 2 years here, if you just look at the efficiency, when we hit our numbers, defensively, we were pretty good. And we won games. Last year, when we got to January, those numbers dropped. Defensively, we weren't as good. Offensively, we weren't very good. So we accumulated a lot of losses. And so that, obviously, depth, player development, recruiting class, all this plays into this year. But then getting back to the things that we want to do, both offensively and how we want to defend defensively. And then it's about guys going out and making plays at both ends of the court. And we've seen a vast improvement in that. We just need to play somebody. We're getting to the point now where guys they're tired of going against each other and tired of the blue gold thing. We need to play somebody else, and coaches need we need a barometer as well. We need an exhibition game. We need the scrimmage. We need the season to start to kind of see where our weaknesses are, both offensively and defensively. But we feel very good, being here the third week, fourth week in October. We feel good with where we're at. The Australian trip really helped with that.
I've heard about like a read and react style on offense. How would you describe your style defensively?
Well, offensively, getting back to a lot of our motion tendencies of what we like to do in open floor motion. Defensively, we want to get back to being more man-to-man. I think last year we were all over the place, and I've said that on record numerous times. That was a mistake on my part of not staying to what we do and just keep working to get better. Instead, we did a lot of different things, from 2 or 3 different zones to 2 or 3 different man concepts, how you're guarding a pick and roll, how you're guarding a post. We're just all over the place, and then you're not very good at any one thing. And so we've really gotten it back more simple and really honing in on the fundamentals of what we want to be defensively. And most of that's going to be centered around man-to-man. Not that we won't show zone, not that we won't show press and do some things out of timeouts and do some things just to basically see if the opponent knows what they can do against that. But I think you're going to see 85-90% of us being in a man-to-man.
You guys are the only team in the preseason coaches poll that had a losing record last year. How are guys embracing some of those expectations?
Well, I think that tells you what UCLA, the brand, this program has always been about. That when you say something like that, that usually doesn't happen. And our 2017 recruiting class is going extremely well and shaping up extremely well, and that's off of a losing season. So that doesn't happen all the time as well. So I think what we have a blend of vets, in particular Isaac, Bryce, and Tom, who were a part of Sweet 16 success and a conference tournament success, at least Isaac and Bryce. And then you have guys that weren't a part of that, being freshmen, but have been big-time winners. And blending those two, you have a very hungry bunch. So preseason, I've never paid much attention to the preseason because there's so many unanswered. Whether you're a freshman, you've never played a collegiate basketball game, so regardless of hype, there's questions there. Veterans can talk about how hungry they are, but does their experience really truly show once games start? But we do know we have a lot of really good working pieces. We've got 4 really talented guards and a 5th when Prince gets back. But when you look at Aaron and Bryce and Isaac and Lonzo, those are 4 high level guards that are in your backcourt, and then a front court that I think is, we've talked about is as deep as we've been. It's a scoring front court, and it's a developing defensive front court. So we like our pieces. We just got to make sure we stay healthy.
How difficult is predicting college basketball in this era? Like you're talking about, there's so much turnover with the young guys.
Right.
Everywhere in college basketball.
Well, and that's why you would like to, now you've got the 42 days to practice before your home opener. You can only practice in 30 of those 42. You got to take 12 days off. We will end up in those 42 days taking more than 12 days off. I like the flexibility it gives coaches now, but you do start earlier. If you had a veteran group, you could practice a little bit less. But at our level now, you don't get a lot of veteran groups. Because most guys are leaving school 1 and 2 years out, so very seldom do you get the experience. And that's what we got to take advantage of, because we've got a backcourt that's got a lot of experience in it. And Bryce and Isaac, and then you got Aaron, who had a ton of experience as a freshman, and then obviously Lonzo is only a freshman, and you might not say he's got experience, but a very high-level player. So our backcourt has really good talent and experience to it, and we got to use that to the best of our ability.
What will you be looking for in the exhibition game next week?
Really just a barometer of where we are through, I think today is our 18th, 19th practice. We're going to have 4 more. So we'll have about 22 practices under our belt. So taking that practice tape and then looking at it after we play an opponent to see what an opponent did that affected our defense and what an opponent did that affected our offense. We're still getting things in from an out-of-bounds standpoint and all those things, but just to be able to look at an opponent of what they did to us, good and bad, and what we did to them, good or bad, that now our tapes are kind of looking the same. You know, we're seeing guys get better. We're seeing the team get better, both offensively and defensively, but we're doing it against each other. And I know it's getting old for the team and it's getting old for us as coaches. We just need to see what we do on both sides of the ball against somebody else.